What's up, everybody? I'm Quin.
I'm Jasper.
This is We Need to Talk. Normally, it's a show where we read the Bible to Jasper as a community.
Yeah, all together. You guys come into to the lovely studio, and then we sit down all together, and we just read me the Bible. But not today.
Not today.
Nope.
Today, we're watching the second most upsetting documentary I've ever seen in my life.
What was the first?
You put me on the spot. I'm assuming there was one that was worse.
Okay, that's fair. That's my bad. I shouldn't have asked you questions about yourself.
Don't question me.
Why does it hurt so bad? Why? Is it because this is the bedrock of our society? I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this.
I really haven't either.
Like, for how insane and groundbreaking I think this is.
Well, I'm wondering, like, so there's two sides to this in my mind.
Okay.
Number one, I don't know. This is based on two books.
Yeah.
His last name's Charlotte.
Jeff Charlotte.
Charlotte, which
Yeah.
is very close to charlatan, which made my ears prick up in a weird way.
I thought it was Charlotte for a minute. I'm like, all these are bad.
Yeah, none of those are good.
But his name is Charlotte.
I don't know like a ton of his history or like I know he's written two books on this.
Is he an
this cult?
investigative journalist? Like, is that his?
Well, he introduces himself as somebody who's been writing about religion for a long time. So I think that he's just like, I think he might just be like a religious scholar, like Reza Aslan, the guy that wrote Zealot. I think that this Jeff Charlotte guy is essentially just like within that realm of like investigative religious reporter.
Okay.
Like that seems to be his role. I've done very little research on this. I watched these episodes once, and now we're talking about them as we
Right.
watch them because Jesus fucking Christ.
One of the things I've always found interesting, even if
Man.
is the idea that there are these battles between good and evil.
That shot there when the devil's shooting the jazz.
Yeah.
I legitimately thought that was coming out the guy's dick the first time I watched this. I did not.
And the devil
see-
was just catching.
Yeah.
Give me a super jizz.
Actively engage in a war with the forces of evil every day.
Like, this is actually the whole good versus evil thing. The whole, hey, you got to watch out for evil. It's everywhere, and you got to be, ready for it and aware of it. Very much a cult mentality. Very much using like just people, like your basic instincts of.
That's just Jesus, man.
Survival.
That's just fucking Jesus camp.
It's so infuriating.
It is. It's mind-boggling.
Taking advantage of the most primitive fears that people have. It makes me so upset. What is a cult? I'll fucking tell you. I'll gladly tell you what a cult is. It's this. It's this, baby.
It's this exact thing we're doing.
Family's a cult.
I moved across the country to join what his family feared was a cult, and he seemed to just drop out.
So let's stop shitting on cults, okay? Let's stop saying that cults are bad and that people leave their families to join a cult. Cults can be groovy. It's when the cults tell you can't see your family or that you can't leave, they have to give them all your money in your life. That's when cults are bad.
That's when, it becomes an issue.
But really, when you're just hanging out on a fucking island, banging each other and smoking grass, like that's a rad time. This is part of cults too. It's just how people transform. Because this is what cults get you at your lowest point.
Yeah.
Cults get you when
Like AA. All of this seems like an awkward hookup.
But that's the thing about cults, is they get you at the lowest point so they can rebuild you.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people who are like born again Christians sound the same.
Right.
Because they want you to sound the same.
Yeah.
Also, every Christian song ever is terrible.
Yeah.
Every song is
All of
bad. They're not good.
No.
The best
Well, except If I Could Have a Beer with Jesus, which is a real song.
is it?
Yeah.
And it's good?
No. Well, are we talking comedy or are we talking?
Is it what the artist intended?
No.
It to-
But it's fucking hilarious.
Let me suck you off, oh Lord. Ba-da-da-da-do. That's not the song, but I wish it was.
That's a fourth vocal track. It's like tucked in and backwards. I think these bands are trying to get people to suck God's dick.
If only. Let me suck God's dick. I'm about it. And that is such a good example of how politicians skirt around questions.
Oh, yeah.
Of just like, hey, in this part of the Bible, it says you should be happy when you hit kids with rocks. What does that mean about Jesus? And they go, I don't know, but in given time, he will show you the light. And when he shows you the light, you will just feel so warm and welcome. It's like, bitch, that's not what I'm asking you.
I'm asking you how you deal with the fact that this is a reality in your book. It's another thing that's part of Christianity that's very weird to me.
Mm-hmm. The cleaning part?
Just no, like the humbling and like service thing. Like Jesus served, so you must serve. So like I went to a Christian high school, and the high school we went to, we had to do two service projects a year, and we had to actually like document them and prove that we did it.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I get it. Like that is actually,
and it's a nice thing.
Yeah. But
it's one of
the
those things.
reason they're doing it is to just further indoctrinate you and make you realize that there are people below and above you.
Yeah.
To know your place.
You have to lower yourself to improve yourself.
Yep. And then if you're chosen by God and you make it through, then there are people beneath you. And then you get to tell them what to do and they work for you. And it's all just normalizing this whole structure. It's all bullshit. Right, Zayfan? What a polite old woman.
Oh, man.
But yeah, no, this is the whole reason the show exists. Because, like,
We need to fucking talk about this shit.
we need to talk about it. It's super important. The fact that this is okay. The fact that there are men who have created this society, this secret society, where they praise how the Nazis got things done and how efficient they were.
That's the most
And
mind-blowing
just like
one to me.
Mussolini, oh man, what a cool guy. Like they're all evil. This is like I get the feeling of just like we have to stop this at any means, and like you think the worst about these people and like, oh, they need to be taken out. And this hurts, man. This makes me so sad and angry.
Yeah.
Because they are just people. They're not gods. They weren't chosen by any higher power. Like, I am still struggling with my own personal faith because of this show, honestly. But this is kind of what I wanted. Like, I'm not blaming you. Like, this is just very fortuitous for me. If you believe in God, if you believe in the Christian God, the Christian modern God, and you think that there are people who were chosen to be better than others, fuck everything you've ever done.
Yeah.
What I want to know about these motherfuckers, I think I tried to bring up this point earlier, the people who were in it, the people who are in it, the people who have some modicum of power within, whether it be government or within the organization itself, do they believe the bullshit or are they feeding you the bullshit?
I think that it's a 50-50. I think that they have received so much benefit from the bullshit that they're willing to buy into it to a degree. This guy has a smushed face and it bothers me. Looks like a cartoonist put his hand on his chin and his eyebrows and just went boop.
And we haven't done Bathsheba yet, right?
We have not. We're not anywhere.
Did we do a lady earlier whose name was Sheba?
No, there was a town called a Beersheba. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. They weren't creative people, man. They only had so many words they could use.
It's like how Stan Lee created all his characters with acronym names.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner, Peter Parker, Pepper Potts. He did that because he didn't want to forget their names.
That's fair.
So if he did like, what's that one guy's name? The Hulk's name was Bruce Banner. Like that's an easier way for him to remember.
Did you know they didn't call him Bruce in the TV show because Bruce sounded too gay?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So they went by Robert Banner for that reason?
No. His name was it wasn't Robert. The 70s TV show with Lou Ferrigno?
I think it was. Because I think like they like retcon it in the comics that Bruce is his middle name, but he just goes by Bruce. Also, if you're in a group at all, if you hang out with people where you have to have formal attire for a casual dinner, get out, leave.
But your soup tastes different if you don't have a bow tie.
No, it doesn't. Also,
Dude.
soup is gross. I don't like soup because I only have soup when I'm sick. So when I have it when I'm not sick, it like makes me feel sick.
You need to fix that because soup is great.
I don't know. Don't quote the Bible. It's a spoiler. No.
You're not going to remember this.
You're right.
We are
Also, this is confusing.
we are a solid 5 years away from you ever hearing these words in the context of this.
Mark it down right now. It's August. It's August what 16th?
Yeah.
It's August 16th, 2019. Let's mark the day for when I get to Matthew 11:27.
No joke, dude, because we're fucking 30 pages into a 1,000-page book.
Ducko is the worst. I'm not even going to call him the devil. Let's give him the devil too much credit.
Yeah, it is. Doug Coe's a cunt.
Also, hail Satan. Oh, Ducko's a fucking cunt. He's a fat, dry, sandy, herpes-ridden cunt who deserves every punishable offense, cruel, unusual, and otherwise. He deserves the worst in this world. I hope his dick turns inside out and then someone pours lemon juice on it. I hope he gets that weird itch in the roof of your mouth and it never goes away. He's already dead. He's 2 years dead. I'm aware. Ooh, and I got a theory about him being dead. I got a whole thing about that because that was in 2017 when he died.
Yeah.
The worst part about Doug Coe is what they're saying right now is that Doug Coe brought me out of religion and into Jesus Christ, which is what a lot of people say is that organized religion is the bad thing, but spirituality is key. So if you believe in something, anything, even if you're an atheist and you believe that science is the way, that's something. You know, that's something. So it helps.
I disagree with that as well. But go on.
Well, I agree with it, except for not in this context, because it's these guys are saying all of the quote unquote right things, but they're doing the wrong things with it, and that's I think the most important thing is just being able to determine for your own goddamn self. And not just listening to other people and be like, oh, that sounds right. Really, take time. Use your brain.
Yeah, think.
And think. Fucking think for yourself.
Study the shit that you're told to believe.
Yeah. And you know, I get why people don't do it because it's hard.
It's difficult.
It sucks.
It's painful. It's not fun.
No, it's not fun.
It's not.
And it's so much easier to just be like, oh, good and evil exists, and there are evil men out there, and God is good. And
It benefits you as a human being to know the things that are in these books.
yeah, I think
It's just not fun to learn.
no, it's so not fun.
It's not.
And then you sit over it with some guy who's reading it to you, and you go, "Do we do Bathsheba?" No, there's a town called Beersheba, and you're like, "What the? Oh, this is the worst.
It's awful.
I hate this.
I know.
This is a bad time.
It's an
Let's
unfun
keep
time.
going.
Okay.
I hate this book. I hate this show." Please.
Oh, that's a very... I forget all these things that you're not familiar with.
dude. So many.
Jesus was a part of everything in my high school. But I remember like they would make announcements before the dances. They would be like, when you're dancing, leave room for Jesus.
Wait,
And
that's a real thing?
Yeah.
I heard that as a joke.
Oh, no, that was said to
Hang
me.
out with comics.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fake
No.
thing.
That's real.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, like you're not supposed to dance too close. Leave room for Jesus.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was a real
Yeah,
thing.
it's real.
I thought it was a joke.
No.
What? What?
Yeah. Well, you don't want the dicks and the pussies getting too close together, then they might go inside each other.
That's all I want. That's the only thing I want is the dick and pussy get close to each other.
But God says that's bad. God made the dicks and the pussies, but
God
he don't
also
want
likes
them going.
Jacob, though. Are we really going to trust everything he says?
Well, Old Testament God's different. New Testament
No,
God.
it's the same God.
No, it's different.
No, the same God.
There's this one time he says he's different, so he's different.
That's not real. God doesn't say he's different now.
Well, there's this one time that he says he's not going to be like that anymore. Except for all the other times. he
Does
says
God
he's
retcon the Old Testament in the New Testament?
I mean, no more than he retcons the Old Testament in the Old Testament.
I have a question about the family, the organization, the fellowship, whatever the fuck they're called. This goddamn underground, invisible Christian, old, white, rich money cult. How much of the things they say is our society? How much of it is this really the bedrock of our society? How much influence do they have? Because they eventually talk about the National Prayer Breakfast, which shouldn't be allowed, which should be illegal, which is illegal under the separation of church and state, but is not. Like how much of what they say and do, because the National Prayer Breakfast has been around for fucking 70 years.
Yeah.
70 years.
Yeah.
70 years.
Yeah.
How much of what they say and do permeates into where you and I stand as people?
A lot.
Right?
A lot.
How much influence do they really have?